Welcome back to Dear Sister, a GSACPC podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kiana, and I'm joined by Miss Nadia.
Hello.
Later on, we're going to have Darian, our favorite graphic designer, talking about what it's like and sharing some notes from her personal life. But today I wanted to talk about art. I feel like it's a very broad spectrum, and I feel like we've both had our fair share of involvement in the arts. I know I do dance, and you do quite a lot as well.
Yes, I do. You do dance, and I feel like that's a good topic to touch on. Because like the arts, I had no idea about this before, like only like 2 years ago. But it encompasses dance, like painting, drawing, music, as well as humanities such as literature and then history. And that history is like the part that I'm more involved with, but I have a deep appreciation of like anything arts. I love music. I love watching plays. It's always a really cool experience.
I think art is just such a vital part of people's lives. Like, I feel like without art, I don't want to quote like something corny, but without art, Earth would just be air.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like it makes life so much more fruitful. I feel like I've been able to get a lot more out of life because I've done dance and because I've seen the symphony and because I've read books and because I've been around people like that. I don't know if you feel the same.
I feel the same too. And like, if you go to downtown Phoenix, you'll see like these old buildings where like people will do like very important stuff, and whether it's like curing people who are ill, doing business deals, and that's like part of what people consider like important, like the quote important stuff in life. But if you look on the outside of that building, it's like decorated with like all of these old vintage like style, like basically buildings that you don't see anymore today. Like they actually put art behind a structure where people were doing like business in, which I feel like intertwines the two into like this beautiful little thing.
Yeah, they really coexist quite well. I was when I was in Massachusetts a little bit ago, I was able to see like the historical buildings there because it's a lot different over there on the East Coast, ironically enough. Just the style of buildings, they had so much life in them, it felt like. And it was just these beautiful historical buildings with just like gorgeous exterior structures, and they were just sitting along like a coastline, or like you knew it was an office building, and then maybe there was a graffitied building next door. And even graffiti, in a sense, is just like something so endearing because that's someone's art they've just placed on the world. It's someone's story they've just tagged on the side of a building. That's something in itself.
It is indeed. Like it honestly, no matter like where you look at, it might not seem like it at first, but it really is like all around us. Whether it's like natural, as in like planting a garden and color coordinating it so like it looks aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Yeah, like a little rainbow, or something as fascinating as wall art.
Well, I think it's pretty apparent that we are both art connoisseurs.
Yeah.
We really appreciate art in general. I don't know, it just makes life so much more beautiful and fun.
It does.
I think something that we did want to discuss today was it was a very unfortunate circumstance, especially in the performance world. I know we were all mad about it. Mr. Timbuktu, Caramel Latte, and his words about the arts. And I feel like I know it hit me really hard.
Yeah.
And it just hurt to hear, especially knowing he's in film and media, which is a very robust art.
It's very ironic, I will say.
It was very strange to hear someone who was basically like an adjacent platform that was just disrespecting another kind of art and another discipline.
Yeah.
It was kind of insane, especially when like I know the other side of dancers. I know everything we go through. I know what it takes to get to a professional level, like how much you have to sacrifice and how much you have to work and want it, because they tell you all the time that in a room of 100 people, you should always think that there is someone else who wants the job more, or someone else who wants to be a part of this more. Yeah. So you need to work as if you are competing head to head with them, because that's a lot of what auditions are.
Indeed.
And it's just so much work that you have to put into it, into making sure that you get to be in the spotlight someday.
Yeah.
And it's weird to hear someone say that, like, no one's trying to keep it alive when, like, so many people, it takes so many people to put on a production.
It does. Because, like, you get, even, like, before production even starts, you have the composer, you have the costume designer, you have the stage designer, you have the choreographer, you have the lyricist. The list goes on and on and on. So I just find it pretty funny, and I got like a little upsetty spaghetti when I've heard Mr. Wannabe Greek philosopher or something comes in here, waltzes on in here, and is like, actually, I don't think it's that important. Despite the fact I've been in a bunch of blockbuster movies, so...
Yeah, I think it's kind of strange. I also saw something where it was like, oh, like, he was up for Spider-Man, but Tom Holland got the role because he had a ballet background.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like, it gives you a sense of edge, and it shows people that you're disciplined.
It is. It does.
It's real weird. I feel like it's just like, it's something so robust that's been around forever. And, like, you can't rip that apart from anyone. Like, I feel like dancing is something so vital. Like, you see a child, they're going to start dancing at some point.
Yeah.
They like to move. They like to, like, feel the vibrations when they, like, stomp on the ground. And it's something so natural that it was just like, oh, no one cares. You care.
Yeah.
There's something in you that cares and wants to dance and wants that to come out. So why not let it?
Yeah, like, it's always been here, and it's not going away. Like, I can't imagine what the world's gonna look like in 1,000 years, but I know for a fact, like, art is probably not gonna go away. Because to me, it's human instinct. Like, if you look back on thousands and beyond thousands of years ago, you'll find ancient caves with cave art in it. And that was, like, that was such a long time ago. I can't even, like, comprehend how people lived back then. Yet me and them have something in common, which is let's paint what we see.
Yeah.
Let's paint everyday life. Like,
I feel like it's really interesting thinking back, like, we've always done art. And it was kind of our way of, like, leaving a mark on the world.
Yeah.
Almost, in a sense. I guess if you believe in past lives, then it's like, oh, well, maybe you were one of those cavemen painting once, and you get to kind of look at that again.
Yeah.
I feel like art is just, like, a huge experience. And it's like, I don't know, staring at art in a museum, like, you could spend hours trying to depict a painting or depict, like, a piece of work in choreography or a stage play. And it'll come to you different in every time you see it. I've choreographed a piece recently that was, like, a part of my story, but I've talked to a lot of people and how they've interpreted it. Beautiful, because not a single one of them has gotten the same answer. They've told me multiple different things, and all of them stray, like, they're kind of, like, near what I intended, but it's still, like, really interesting to see how they're interpreting it and how they're seeing it through their eyes, from their perspective, using their experience to kind of back that up.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. I feel like art is just, like, you can experience it so many times, over and over again. It's renewable. It's the best resource we'll ever have and will continue to have.
Intentionally or unintentionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so valuable. It just, like, makes me smile. Art makes my day.
It does. It makes my day too. It adds a little flavor to my life when there's, like, hard stuff going on in the world. So,
well, I think that we've kind of discussed all we need to, so we're going to take a quick moment, have a recess, maybe some apple juice.
lay in the sand on the monkey bars.
Yes, slide on the slide, and we will come back and have our wonderful guest, Darian. Welcome back, Darian. Hi.
Hi. I wasn't here the first half, but yeah, welcome.
Well, you've been here in spirit the last episode, so
Yeah, I've kind of been in the background.
it's okay. We still love you. But me and Nadia have both known Darian for a good long while.
Yes.
We've seen you through ups and downs, mostly ups, because she started grad school, she got promoted.
Yay.
How do you feel?
Good. I feel like I like downplay a lot of things, but I think right now I'm at a point in my career where I'm like really happy and like content with the work that I'm producing. And I've been like designing for many years, but I've never actually had like a title, you know? So it means a lot.
Fancy.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, we both met her through the media program. I remember, like, one of the first years I met her, I was like,
What was your first impression of me?
I don't know. I was like, oh, that's Darian. I was like, okay, she's fun. Okay. And then we started bickering, and it was the rest is history. How about you, Nadia?
Oh, that's interesting. I met Darian when I first entered Media Ambassadors. I entered a little later than you. I entered my first year of high school. So it was pretty recent actually, because I met you two over email and at the first meeting, and then afterwards I was like, Zuri and Darian are super cool.
Yeah. This is a Darian fan club. Fun fact. We love Darian, and we both got the giggles. So who knows what's gonna happen right now?
That's true. That's how I deal with nerves. I just laugh.
Yes.
What are we gonna talk about today?
Oh, art.
Ooh.
Yeah. But we just want to know, what do you do in your role for the council? Like, we know you're a graphic designer, but what does that entail?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a lot actually, but I think to kind of summarize it, I'm kind of responsible for designing and creating collateral for not just our marketing and communications team, but for the entire council. So like if there's signage that needs to be created, if there's programs, if there's presentation slides, anything that has to do with our brand, like I kind of oversee that. And then also another piece of it too is like collaborating with other organizations who we're working alongside. So if they need like our council service mark or any of like our logos, I'm the person that's supposed to like approve that and work with them to make sure that they're not putting like our like logo that's in black text on like a dark background or any of that stuff. So trying to like make things look nice and make sense, and yeah.
That is very awesome stuff.
You fancy.
Yes. And sometimes I draw, but not always. But I think that's the best part for me, probably like the illustrating piece.
Yeah. Fun fact, Darian designed our media ambassador t-shirts this year, and it's like my favorite thing to wear.
Yeah, we're not wearing them, but if you guys ever see like a brown tee with like, I don't know, yellow ink or I don't know, yeah, something like that, tan ink, that's the shirt. Yeah.
Very cool shirt.
Do you guys like it? You guys have probably seen a lot of t-shirts and merchandise be created during your time as Girl Scouts. Is this kind of like a good t-shirt in the t-shirt history of Girl Scouts?
I think your t-shirt design though is like one of my favorites because it's like it's so like different than like all the other t-shirts that I have seen or had throughout Girl Scouts. Like I really liked the way you design it, like with the color scheme. Like the color is very cozy, and then the illustrations on it were super cool as well.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I'm a fan of subtle branding instead of having like a big logo in my face. Like it's like, oh, they're Girl Scout cookies. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Same. And Zuri and I actually like think a lot about like what we would wear ourselves, because sometimes we have to wear those shirts, right? So we're like, what would we actually wear? What are like some colors that are trending, or what are the girls wearing right now that they would like to have? So yeah, you guys are a huge inspo. Yeah.
All right. So what were you like afraid of or nervous about pursuing a career in the arts?
Oh my God, my mom thought that I was going to be broke.
Oh, as most artists do.
Yeah. She, I've always loved art, and my second grade teacher told me that I was going to be an author. And my mom kind of like, you know, she like kept that in the back of her head. But my mom is an engineer. So she kind of always pushed for us to pursue STEM careers. But my family is very artistic. My grandfather is a woodworker. My dad works in upholstery. And then my grandma used to work at a museum too at some point before she retired. So art has always been there. But my mom always thought that like you make no money out of being an artist. So I guess I was like a bit afraid of pursuing art, even though I never wanted to be like a painter, you know, or like a traditional artist. So I started my undergrad actually with on a biology track. And then I ended up just switching majors to English. So my undergrad is in English, and I love writing and literature and history and all that. So that's kind of like where my like arts, like my formal career started per se, was through writing. So yeah, writing has been like a huge piece of me. And I also get to do, well, not really anymore. I guess I was like, I used to do that when in my old role when I was writing for Connections. Zuri and I used to like kind of brainstorm what like featured articles we wanted to write. So I was responsible for doing some interviews and writing up things for you all to read. And now my job is a little different there because now I get to design the magazine. So it's a whole different side to it. But yeah, that's kind of like what I was afraid of, is like not making money or not surviving out of art. I proved my mom wrong, I think.
Sorry, when there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, yes, there's a lot of path. Is this the path that you imagine yourself going on?
I always had a feeling that I was gonna be in a job that would allow me to create and like create, period, right? I wasn't like thinking I was going to be a fine artist or like running a gallery. I actually really wanted to be a contemporary art curator for the longest time. And then someone in the industry actually told me you make no money in museums. So that was pretty harsh, coming from someone who is an active like public art installation artist, right? Never want to hear that. But anyways, what was the question? I forgot.
Is this the path you imagined yourself going?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, I just knew that like I was gonna end up somewhere where like I was allowed to create and do things that like meant something to me. I knew that I didn't want to be in a career where like, it's so funny because I'm like, bro, I was like glued to my desk, but I pretty much am glued to my desk all the time because I'm having to design, like either draw on the iPad or like, you know, the computer is just such a important tool to the work. But it's fun work and I take a lot of pride in it, and it means a lot, especially like when other people connect to it, because I could be making something that looks good to me and that maybe, I don't know if anyone's gonna connect to it, but when you guys say the things that you do, like that's what makes the job so much more important.
So it seems you have like a lot of experience within making art for Girl Scouts Arizona Cactus-Pine Council, but in your free time and outside of this organization, what type of art do you enjoy the most doing, or what do you do?
Question.
Yeah, I'm a freelance designer for a few nonprofits. So I take a lot of pride in like the people and the organizations that I partner with, because I think they all represent and advocate for causes that are really important to me. And my way of contributing to those movements is through my art.
Yeah.
So, I've done zines for Chispa Arizona. I've done stickers, t-shirt designs to get people to vote. I've done voter guides. I recently worked with the ACLU of Arizona, and I designed their annual report poster.
That's so cool.
That was really awesome. Yeah. That was really awesome. Yeah. But it's really cool, I think, like, to see, not just to know that, like, people trust me to take on these really huge projects, but, like, to build trust with these people that, like, they want to keep working with me.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like, the most important, because a lot of these projects could be, like, a one and done, you know? But I think it's really important people, like, want to keep coming back to you and enjoy working with you and collaborating with you. And they let you into, like, their organizations, even though I'm not a full-time staff member, you know? And it's really cool getting to know, like, what other people are doing for their organizations, how they're communicating with their membership, kind of like how we communicate with, like, our Girl Scouts and, like, their families. So it's a really good space for, like, creativity and innovation, because, like, I kind of take a lot of inspiration from what is going on outside of Girl Scouts and try and, like, find ways on how to, like, bring it in or, like, apply it to, like, our organization. So we just kind of, like, stay on top and not just trendy, but just things, like, look different in a good way for everybody. So that's kind of, like, what I do outside of Girl Scouts. And for the longest time, actually, I used to do a lot of, on my free time, like, not work related. I used to watercolor a lot. And whenever I was, like, really stressed, watercoloring is, like, the most forgiving, I don't know, paint. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake. You can just wet the brush, paint it, and wipe it with the cloth, and you start all over. So I used to watercolor a lot. And then I started doing a lot of digital art when I got my iPad, like, in 2020 during the pandemic. So things kind of shifted for me a little bit, but I'm kind of, like, going back to, like, traditional art making. Like, I'm literally scrapbooking right now. Just because I don't want to be looking at a screen the whole time. So yeah, I'm trying to, like, find other things that, like, keep me sharp, I think.
That's all a bunch of really amazing opportunities, though, like getting to design your own, like, spreads and designs for organizations and voting guides. Like, I agree with that too, because if you ever seen, like, the ballots and, like, the stickers that come with them, and, like, most of the time they're, like, designed by an artist, and it kind of just makes it more fun because nobody just wants to see, like, a plain, like,
Right. And every sticker's different too.
Yeah,
It's more personable.
yeah.
That's really, I didn't know this. Wow. Wait, you're so cool, Darian. You have so much, like,
Oh, thanks.
oh.
I think you guys are really cool too. You guys are pretty inspiring.
What do you feel like was the most, like, daunting thing you've ever had to do?
I don't know. I think maybe when I was just starting out, like, freelancing, it was so scary to, like, communicate with, even though I'm an adult, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm, like, communicating with, like, this director of an organization, and, like, you kind of just get in your head about it because you're like, I'm just, like, not at your level or something. So, like, it was really intimidating to be, like, in meetings when I first started out with, like, directors and, like, chief peoples of their organizations. That was the most, like, intimidating piece of it. But you just kind of, like, find your way, and you give yourself, like, kind of, like, that sense of belonging and reassurance, even though the imposter syndrome definitely, like, kicks in. And I don't really talk about my work, actually, unless I'm asked, which is probably why you just, weren't aware about of these other, like, side projects or side quests, as you like to call them.
The professional side quester.
But yeah, I think that was, like, the scariest part was learning how to communicate with people who have different communication styles, and everyone's different. I think the more organizations that I work with, the more I have to be, like, careful about who I'm talking to, what we're talking about, and you kind of just have to learn like that specific organization's like language in order to meet their need and like complete the work that they're hiring you to do. Yeah.
Communicating's hard.
It's so hard. I mean, you're a dancer. What were like what was difficult for you when you first started dancing?
Well, I started when I was 4. So
Were you ever shy? 'Cause I'm not a dancer, so I feel like I would cry on stage.
yeah, I've been blessed. I've never had stage fright or camera fright, which nice. Y'all couldn't tell. I've liked to perform, so it's been really nice being just like on the stage and being able to present something that I've worked hard on. I think that's like really wonderful. But I know communicating is always difficult in any medium. Like working with other people, if you're choreographing something, you have to communicate with your dancers to make sure they understand not only what moves they're supposed to do, but the story behind it, if there is a story, or like what you're emulating. And I know me and Nadia are both presidents of our school's yearbooks. Represent. I know it's always really hard for my staff. We always have to like lay out and be like, okay, you need to communicate. If you do not communicate, we cannot get this thing done. If we do not get this thing done, people are mad. Money's on the line. And it's really hard doing that like with high schoolers.
I agree.
It's really interesting.
Do you know what's like also scary too is like now like that I heard you say that is working with people who have a completely different vision that you do in the creative space.
Yes.
You're like, that's not, I either didn't communicate my vision well, so we like did a poor job executing it, or you like, I don't know, or both of our ideas are just like clashing. That's what's tough.
Have you ever had to like restart something because of that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there was recently I had to redo like an illustration. And that was really hard for me because I just wasn't informed about like the changes that they wanted on time. And it's really hard like drawing on my own time and managing that while I'm also managing my full-time job at Girl Scouts, right? That takes priority.
Yeah.
So a lot of this side work, it has to get done like Friday nights through like the weekends, or just like late evenings. So for like big changes to happen, then the project suddenly has to like pivot and I have to come up with the new illustration by like end of the week. Like it might not sound like a lot, but it takes a lot of like brainstorming and you're like, oh, I'm drawing something. I don't even know if they're going to like it once I pitch it, So, yes, there's been times where like I've had to like scrap what I'm doing and start from zero. So it hasn't happened a whole lot, thankfully. But that's hard for sure. Yeah. But I try not to take it personal. I think if you take it personal, then you just kind of like do yourself a disservice. Sometimes you just have to like roll with the punches and start all over. And at the end of the day, like if people are happy with the work that I produce, like that makes me happy. I don't care if I had to make 5 drawings for you to, pick from. As long as you like it, that's what matters.
Yeah, definitely. Because I kind of see like the frustration too, because it's like when you worked like so hard on a piece and it's just like when you look at it, it seems like it's the final one.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting the feedback, especially late, it's like, but I worked so hard on this.
Yeah, that's why I don't attach myself to my work a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I make something and like I just let it go. And whatever happens, and that's it. Because if not, like, I get too in my head about it. So, yeah, I think that's something that I've learned. To just create and let go of it.
It's hard. I attach myself like so much. I put my soul into everything I make. So if someone doesn't like it, it's like, all right, it's over. My life's so no more.
Yeah, I'm sure like dance and performance art is like really, really different.
Yeah, I don't draw much, but it's a lot of like you put yourself on the line because you're performing, but you have to show a different side of you almost from like a character.
What's your biggest reward? Like the applause?
No, not the applause. You do a lot of it for you. Like, you're up there and you're performing for yourself for the most part, even if it's like, I mean, I've never done a paid gig. One day, though,
We'll get there.
but it's just like fulfilling to know that you've pushed yourself and that you've grown. And it's really hard for like any of me and any of the dancers that I know to like watch themselves again, like on tape. But it's really, really great to see how much you've grown and like how much you can perform now and how much you're capable of.
Yeah. And Nadia, you're a writer, right? You like to.
I'm kind of a writer slash like history nerd. So I know that's not like entirely within art, but according to like universities, it's a Bachelor of Art. So
So it is. It's totally.
I don't really notice, like, I know like the biggest frustration in fine arts is you'll get like some people back who are like don't have like the same vision as you. And even though like the art that we do together isn't the same, I kind of notice it within like the humanities as well, because sometimes if some historical event happened 500 years ago, there's always that one person saying, nope, that never happened, never has, never will. And then meanwhile, you're just in the corner saying there's like 20 documents to prove it. I don't know what else is going to show you that this is important. And then with writing as well, it's like sometimes you'll write something where people have to read between the lines, and then there's always this one person who's like doesn't see the deeper meaning behind it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think art documents.
It does.
And then there's no erasing that.
Yeah.
And it documents like photography and film and video and dances too, in every single way, I think. And it's also like, I think, a form of protest.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, if you look back on like major historical events where people were fighting for their rights, whether it was women's suffrage, whether it was the 1950s in America, art was always there. And a lot of the art that we study in school was written during that time period, whether it's like analyzing an art piece or reading a poem. It's the meaning's always there.
And we always have like the art to look back on.
Yeah.
To see what things look like before and what things could look like now and in the future. That's powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that anytime there's like a political struggle, that the arts always flourishes, because it's what gives us hope. And like we get to enjoy it when there's times of strife, which I think is so, so beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Darian for being on the show today.
Yes.
We really appreciate the insight that you put in, and we appreciate the work that you do as well.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me and inviting me. Thank you guys. You guys did awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone for listening, and to the Better Business Bureau for letting us use their podcast studio. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Spotify to be notified when new episodes come out. Woo! To close us out, Kiana is going to teach us some ballet vocabulary.
All right, guys. I'm going to name a step, and I want you guys to tell me what you think it means and what you think it looks like. Okay? Are we ready? Yes. I'm going to go real basic. All right. Plie.
Oh, is that the one that goes like, it's like a deep bow? You're on your feet, and then I don't really know how to describe it.
You demonstrate?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Is she in frame? Yes, wait, yes.
Fun fact, I actually used to do ballet, but I don't anymore. But that's one of the few things that I remember.
That was good. Yeah, so plie, it just means to bend. So anytime you bend, or when you land a jump, you'll see dancers are always going to bend their knees to save your knees and make sure you don't get shin splints. And it is very good when you hit a good plie. And we always have to remind everyone to hit a nice plie in 5th position. But yeah, that is your ballet for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, I guess. Well,
we'll see you next time.
Bye.